YouTube! What's going on, everybody? My name is Phantomatic, and you might be wondering why the hell am I on Captain Cabinet's Twitter account? Well, apparently, you cannot praise the game for its good changes because, well, the global passive exists. Before I get into this, I've already made a video on this. I've already recorded this. However, due to issues, my voice was not recorded the entire time. So here I am yet again, basically kind of going through it in a more calm tone because let's be honest, I was a bit heated the first time I talked about this. So I'm not going to hold you up anymore. We're going to be talking about the whole argument Captain Cabinets and EO had. I mean, it was more of a, not an argument, but kind of like a back and forth, you know? Just a back and forth, nothing deep. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's see what the hell is going on. So for context as to what is going on, EO made this post, chilling for Texas Showdown this weekend, but reading a lot until I watched later. From what I'm gathering, this was actually a damn good patch reveal. The only negative is Cassie's global passive. There's a lot to talk about. This won't be the end of Honkai Star Rail. And for further context, he is talking about the livestream which happened earlier today. And let's be honest, the 3.2 livestream was a massive W, okay? It was pretty darn good. Besides, as he said, Castrus's global passive, which we've all agreed, and even I've agreed, that it is a very, very terrible change or an addition to Honkai Star Rail. It is very greedy and sets a bad precedent for characters in the future who have these global passives. However, he's not wrong, and you'll see why he's not wrong once we continue going down this whole back and forth they had on Twitter. So Captain Cabinets, out of nowhere, unprovoked, decided to make this quote retweet. Nah, how the F can we praise what we just saw? Calling this damn good completely minimizes the long-term impact of global passives. Ignoring it, pretending it's fine, and then sucking up to the crap makes us crap suckers. Now obviously, if you have a brain, common sense, and the ability to digest information that is shown to you, you would know that we are getting so many, honestly, pretty darn good changes to the game. We are getting free 5 stars. We are getting story changes. We are getting so many, we're getting events. We are getting so many pulls. It is actually insane. And for you to say that, yeah, you know, looking at all that, only to say, well, the version's still bad because of the global passives, is not only ludicrous and ridiculous and stupid, but wow. It really just shows what you really think of Honkai Star Rail. Like, the only thing you can honestly hate about the game is the global passives. Sure, there's the HP inflation, which I'm sure she talked about, but the fact that you aren't gonna give HSR the flowers it deserves because of one passive or one system in the game is very, very ridiculous. So EO, of course, says, so what was horrible about it besides Cassie's global passive? Which honestly is a very valid question. If you believe that the version is so bad, then you obviously have to have more than one reason for hating this version update. It can't really be because of the global passive, right? You're missing the forest for the trees. The passives are such an overwhelming negative for the player base that they conveniently glossed over that you can't balance out the positives they announced and come to the conclusion the overall patch was a damn good reveal. I just don't follow the logic. Well, here is the logic behind this. Yes, you can balance out the good and the bad. That is exactly what they did. The fact that they are allowing us to acquire limited 5-star characters more ways than just waiting for their limited banner to drop and pulling them is very darn good for the game, and especially the free-to-play players who don't have access to all these limited 5 stars. The fact that they changed and optimized the 50-50 lost pool to the point where you can just customize the 7 standard banner characters for limited characters is very darn good. Now, of course, there isn't much at the moment. However, you must realize that this is a long-term investment. Over time, these shops, these 50-50 pools, all of them will grow more and more with more limited 5-star characters you wish you had on your account and you wish you pulled. To then now say, oh, all of that doesn't matter because the global passes were such a huge issue is honestly ridiculous. As we've said, yes, the global passes are very bad. Yes, X, Y, and Z. However, it's not like it's the end all be all. It's just a system we don't want in the game. It buffs accounts and we just don't want in the game. Simple as that. And you know what? It's in the game. So the only thing we can do right now is find some way to salvage what little we have of HSR and what little we love of HSR. So EO, of course, responds and says, I'm not missing anything. That one thing doesn't make the entire announcement horrible, which is why I asked you what was horrible about it. I said something specific and you ignored it for the sake of global bad, which I also stated was a negative. Honestly, valid take. It is a very valid take. EO has not said one single, he just said that the reveal was pretty darn good. That's it. And Captain Cabinet just came out of nowhere and rah rah rah, global bad, global passive bad, rah 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 rah. The version was terrible because of it, which is very stupid, let's be honest. So Captain Cabinets comes out and says, if someone takes a massive crap in my living room but leaves flowers on the way out, can the smell of roses counteract the smell of the dookie? It's about a weighted response in my opinion. I have nothing to say to that, but it's just darn gross. EO also agrees that it was just disgusting. LMAO, discussing activities. That's where we differ though, which could explain why you don't follow my logic. Your problem is the global passive, which I'll also assume means you felt the game was fine prior to that. My problem is the entire game. So what I consider good or bad is relative to the game, not if a player has access to the globals or not. And I don't think I could have said it any better, honestly. Captain Cabinets is basically coming from the perspective that just because the global passes were in the game, everything else in the game, everything else HSR does is automatically bad, which obviously is not the case. That is a very poor way of thinking. And all EO is trying to say is that, yo, he's looking at it from a much broader perspective, which is the entire game in general. And when you look at it from that perspective, man, this update was actually pretty darn good. Now, if you're like Saint Tontas and just, you know, crap the game 24/7 and make videos on it 24/7, then of course your way of thinking is going to be very warped, especially when it comes to topics like these. Now, Captain Cabinets is not a bad person. Captain Cabinets is not scum of the earth. I follow her on Twitter. I subscribe to her on YouTube. She's a pretty darn good content creator. However, at the moment, this entire take about the 3.2 livestream was just very crappy, okay? And that is going to be it for the video. Now, does this make Captain Cabinets a bad person? No, we're humans and we all have very bad takes from times. But I would just recommend Captain Cabinets to please sit down and take the time to consider that just because the global passes were in the game doesn't mean that we have to automatically invalidate every single good change in the damn game. And yeah, that's gonna be it from me. I am very upset right now. I'm tired, I'm sleepy, and the fact that I have to redo this video is just even worse, you know? But I'm glad I'm getting it done. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. My Discord server is live right now, so make sure to go check that one if you can. And I will see you all in the next Honkai Star Rail video. Signing off.
I've been so tired. I don't wanna fight, but you're a liar. I need your help, cause the situation's dire. I'm so sick of using people to get higher. We can take